Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't seem to be working. I think it's missing something around the back. Oh, hi there. Good to see you again. I thought today, since I'm having so much trouble with this old piece of technology, that we should talk about another piece of old technology, namely the 8-track tape. And today, what better thing to do on a beautiful day than look through my Beach Boys 8-track collection. I hope you enjoy it. Going in approximate chronological order, we start with Best of the Beach Boys from 1966, the original Beach Boys Best of album. Some classics on here like Surfin' USA, Little Deuce Coupe, mixed with some B-sides and some lesser known tracks. Fun listen. Where there's one, you know there's gonna be two. Best of the Beach Boys Volume 2. A lot of great ones on there too. California Girls, Help Me Rhonda, Barbara Ann, Don't Worry Baby, 409, all kinds of stuff. Very good listen. In 1969, the Beach Boys recorded their famous Live in London album. However, it was not released in the US until 1976. Here's the original from Europe, released in 69. But on 8-track, here's the American version from 1976, titled, renamed from Live in London as Beach Boys 69. Some great, unusual live choices on there, songs we don't see on many live recordings of them, such as Aren't You Glad, Bluebirds Over the Mountain, and so on there. The entire show has been released digitally on the Beach Boys Live 1968 collection. Huge collection, highly recommend it. Speaking of live, their famous 1973 double LP, Beach Boys in Concert, here available on 8-track. The package even notes it's equivalent to 2 LPs. On the back, there's the song list for you. A lot of great ones on there too, some unique tracks like We Got Love, and some you don't see live very often, like Let the Wind Blow. It covers basically their whole career. There's some old ones on there too, like Surfin' USA and Surfer Girl. A very fun live album, usually regarded as their best. Also from the 70s, one that everybody knows and loves, Endless Summer. This was the greatest hits package that completely revamped their careers, and it's full of all the greatest hits that even young people today know. Surfin' USA, Surfin' Safari, and so on, all the way up to the mid-60s with songs like California Girls, and so on. Pretty good stuff. Just said and so on twice, I shouldn't have done that. As we said with those best ofs, where there's one, there's always two. Spirit of America. Please ignore the price sticker on there. Spirit of America is a little more challenging than Endless Summer was. It features covers, while Endless Summer does not. Features a lot of album cuts, songs like This Car of Mine, songs like Do You Remember, ones that just, you know, you don't see them a lot on greatest hits packages. And I like that they did that. This is a great next step. After one that's all the obvious hits, we get one that's a little more nuanced. And while we're in the 70s, they rounded out the decade with LA, Light Album. Very shiny in front there. On the back's the track list. LA is very unique in the Beach Boys catalog in that it's one that's driven more by Carl Wilson and Dennis Wilson than it is by Mike Love or Brian Wilson. Their contributions on here are pretty minimal, but there's some really great ballads on here. Some beautiful songs like Baby Blue and Angel Come Home and Love Surrounds Me. And there's some very strange experiments on here too, such as Shortening Bread and the 12-minute disco Here Comes the Night, which takes up the entire third program of this album and then carries on into the fourth. But a very interesting album, a lot different than anything else they did. So let's talk about some more unique and different 8-track tapes. Here is from Pickwick Records, High Water. Now I have all of the Pickwick LPs, and they are a very mixed bag. There are all kinds of strange compilations and abridged reissues and so on. High Water contains the shortened version of Beach Boys Concert, the famous 1964 LP. Here we go, get rid of this with some of that glare for you. It removes the tracks Let's Go Trippin', Hawaii, The Wanderer, and Johnny Be Good, so it keeps most of the album. And it also contains the abridged Pickwick reissue of Best of the Beach Boys Volume 3, probably the least remembered and least highly regarded of those original greatest hits packages from the 60s. The reissue here removes Surfin' and Frosty the Snowman from the track list. So we have two slightly shortened albums on one 8-track tape. The concert is first and the greatest hits package is second. There is also a lengthy disclaimer on the back explaining what you are to do should the 8-track tape be defective and how Pickwick is not responsible. There you go. So a different release. I actually don't have that LP, unfortunately, but I do have the 8-track, so that works too. In honor of 2021 being the year of Feel Flows, gotta have Surf's Up. This was a very strange Surf's Up that I found on eBay, and I'll explain why I purchased it in a little bit, but it has this odd cover art. The eBay listing said it could be a bootleg. I haven't listened to it to know. There's nothing on the reverse. The track list is on the front. But I thought it was an interesting curio to have in the days of Feel Flows and these new mixes and alternate takes and these songs being done live for the first time since the 70s. I thought it was pretty cool to have. So it might be of questionable origin, but I still find it to be a valuable and interesting 8-track. Next up on our stack we have Sergeant Pep. Oh, I don't know how that got there. Don't worry about that one. Now we'll show off two of my treasured possessions here. The first time I ever met Mike Love and Bruce Johnston, I told them I was going to bring an 8-track. The next show I went to, buy a backstage ticket, get them to sign the 8-track, and so they signed this for me back in 2018. It says Love Mike Love and Bruce Johnston's name there at the bottom. They were pretty tickled to have signed an 8-track. That was at a show in Warner Theater in Erie, Pennsylvania that I went to again, Christmas 2018. It was a terrific show. I handed this to Bruce Johnston and he looked at it and said, "Oh wow, a 7-track." And I corrected him, explaining that on the package it states it is equivalent to 2 8-track cartridges, therefore it would be a 16-track. And to which Mr. Johnston replied, "Doesn't matter, it's still going to sound like garbage anyway." So there you go. But I'm glad I got that signed. And they were so tickled, so surprised to be signing an 8-track that when I saw them in 2021 for the Feel Flows tour at Youngstown Foundation Amphitheater in Youngstown, Ohio, I brought my Wild Honey 8-track for them to sign. It actually has the tracks listed on the back instead of on the front, like most of the others do. But I brought this for them. My goal was to have them sign this weird Surf's Up one, but I didn't get that one in time for the show, so I brought Wild Honey instead. And you can see this as a prop in my Wild Honey video. I kind of set it off to the side there, but nice to have a chance to talk about it. I can't get this one to work anymore. I think the sponges have rotted away. If I replace the sponges, I might be okay. But a great album, and I like that they were able to autograph it for me. Bruce Johnston was still on the kick that an 8-track doesn't sound good though, so why would you purchase one? I don't know. He's got the Grammy, I haven't. I guess he would know. Do you have any 8-track tapes? Or do you have any favorite Beach Boys albums? If you do, feel free to drop a comment below. Tell me about some of your favorites, either the tapes or the albums, or both. Or maybe something else entirely. And until next time, my friends, thanks for watching, and go out there and catch a wave.